topic of the discussion and hit the issues you typically find reluctant. Remove the facade to fill the gap with some substance. We undermining problems, expecting to overcome it. Please hold the applause, we doing it for the cause. People follow culture before they follow the laws. We rather face the friction and not attempt it at all. Persistence will find solutions once our contentment dissolves. There's a hard pill to swallow for anyone breathing, both for folks who stay woke and those who be dreaming. We ain't slaves, yet we still ain't experienced freedom. What we need is the keys to access the kingdom. We're all in this fallen world trying to stay intact. I'm just a beggar, point you out to where the bread is at. So follow the breadcrumbs like Hansel and Gretel. Thank Yogi Bear and the thought engineer for that on Man Talk Monday. It's Man Talk Monday. Woo!
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back once again. It's your boys, your big brothers in the house. Derek, the thought engineer, here with my man, comedian John Yogi. How you feeling tonight, man?
Man, excuse me. Man, I got in from Vegas this morning, brother, and I am running on fumes. But hey, it's gonna be a great show. Vegas don't owe me nothing, especially when you old. It don't owe you nothing.
That was your car backfired. Yeah, that was your car backfired.
All that. So it's good with you, man. How was your weekend, dude?
Great weekend, man. Had a good time. Celebrated a friend of ours celebrated a birthday, so we kicked it with her. Shout out to Cherie for her birthday. So we had a good time, man.
It's good, man. You know, that's one thing about y'all. Y'all can always find some shenanigans to get into over the weekend. Y'all,
hey, man,
king and queen.
Blame it on my wife, man. My wife, she know how to find a party, boy. You know, all them old folks be looking for them. They be looking for them funerals in the obituaries. See who funeral is it today? Who we going funeral we going to this weekend?
She can find a party. She can find a party.
She be on them parties, man. So, but it's cool. It's cool. I can do it. You know, she keep me going. So, absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Man Talk Mondays. Let me just remind everybody, this is Man Talk Mondays, an open forum where we get into the real about relationships, all kinds of relationships, family relationships, romantic relationships, everything. But we're doing it from a man's perspective. Now, keep in mind, this conversation is not just for men. We want everybody to join in and participate. Men, women, boys, and girls, children of all ages, you are welcome. How you do this, you go into the comment section, leave your comment, leave your question. We can see this, and this is how you talk to us. But by all means, we want to hear from you. So make sure you hop in there, talk to us tonight. We got a great topic. I know you got something to say, so we want to hear what you got to say tonight. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe to the podcast. You can find our podcast, the audio version. You can find it on Apple, Google, Spotify, Spreaker, all the different platforms you can find the audio version of our podcast on. We upload a new episode every week. Got a whole lot of great content out there. Got some great shows. You can go and check it out anytime you want to. Also, you can also catch us on your TV screen. Right now, if you got a Roku TV or a Roku device, you can turn it on BS3 TV, the BS3 TV channel on Roku, and you can catch us live on your screen right now. BS3 TV on Roku. Now, if you don't have a Roku TV or a Roku device on your TV, you can catch us on your computer. We have a direct web link that you can find us on. It's bs3tvlive.com. We are part of the BS3 network podcasts. Got a whole lot of great other good podcasts. You can find the content out there on Roku, BS3. We got on-demand viewing that you can go back. You can check out anything you want to see. You can hop on it. You can check it out. But by all means, show some love. Show some love. What's going on, Miss Karen? Thank you for joining us tonight. We appreciate you. Miss LaShawn, Miss Walker LaShawn, thank you for being here as well. The people are coming on in, getting ready for the conversation. We're going to sit down. We're going to have a nice chit chat tonight. But before we get into all of that, ladies and gentlemen, we're up to our segment we call Man Talk About.
In this segment of Man Talk About today, I was at a wedding. I went to Vegas this week and I went for a wedding. And it was all, it was perfect. The things about weddings, so much love in there. You just can't even escape it. It make you look at your wife funny when y'all been married forever. Love is always in there when it comes to Vegas and the marriage whole thing. And I'm sitting there and and they could barely get through their vibes because they say, "Oh, you I just love, I love." And I'm looking and I'm thinking, where does all this go when the marriage officially starts? And also, there was one more thing. I didn't think that the person running the show, I can't think of her name, whoever the person that's running the marriage thing that was in charge of it, I don't think they did a good job of explaining how difficult marriage is. I thought she kind of jumped around. It was kind of fluffy and, tomorrow will be better. She didn't really get into there are going to be times when you have to remember why y'all got married. You're going to have to reflect back to that when they get on your everlasting nerves, because they're going to get on them. Listen to me. They're going to get on them. And I was like, but I don't think we give married people nowadays a proper perspective on what marriage really is from the jump. And I really kind of saddened by it, because I'm like, man, at least tell it to them, so they can at least lie in front of everybody and say, I do, yeah, I'll do all of that. But we don't even give them an opportunity, because we make them think it's going to be a yellow brick road the whole time. And that's just simply not the case. That is not the case. I know y'all loving each other. And believe me, there's nothing more. You'll never get more love than you will when somebody stick a mic in your face and say, now, tell us your vows to your wife. You can't hardly look at it. I just love. Just her, just being her. I just want to be in the space. I just love it. And I'm like, girl, after about 10, 15 years, y'all ain't gonna be nothing. You're gonna be looking for that. You're gonna have to watch the tapes to remember why y'all got married. And I'm simply saying we need to do a better job of helping people understand really what they getting into. Because this ain't for the faint of heart. Marriage is not for the faint of heart. You got to be a G to get in here and hang with these married folks. D, talk to me. Am I lying to him? I can't.
I remember you saying a while back that music and movies are the lies we tell about love. And I think people see all of this. They see, the fantasy. They see people on TV. Now, we had recently celebrities. It was like 6 celebrity couples that announced their divorce all at the same time. I'm like, what in the world is going on? And let me say, just because you make a lot of money does not qualify you as being an expert on marriage. Does not qualify you that everything is going to work out fine. And so we look at these celebrities and everything, and when they start breaking up and stuff, we get all in our feelings about it. Listen, they going through just like everybody else. So they go in with the wrong mindset, just like everybody else. That don't mean that makes them smarter about it. Nobody's exempt. This thing is real, man.
Marriage has no respect of person. Either you do the work or you get divorced. This is something, dude. It does not matter how much money you got if you J&B. If you're the queen or the king, everybody got to work on their marriage. It's the same. Everybody have to.
Right. You're going to get them legs switched either way it go, baby.
And they plan
they're going to get switched either way it go.
Them. For real. That's true talk.
Now we're not trying to down people on marriage, but just trying to give people the real, because too often people are getting into marriage, and then once they see what it is, now, I'm looking for the quickest exit. So tonight we want to kind of get into the conversation of what happens. How do we end up here? So tonight we talking about after the love is gone, marriage and the pursuit of happiness. After the love is gone, marriage and the pursuit of happiness, right? Joining us for the conversation.
I can't understand it because it's crazy to see people at a wedding. Dude, to see people at a wedding, you would never think there would be a divorce. You would never think it because they can hardly talk.
Oh, man.
Can I just touch you?
Yeah.
Can I just touch you? Like, what in the world is all this? And 10 years later, they can't stand each other.
Hey, that party ends so fast, brother. That party ends so fast. But we wanted to bring a nice young married couple on to talk with us tonight about this topic. So joining us tonight, we have the Davenports, Dion and Amber Davenport. Miss Davenport is an assistant principal in DISD, and her husband, Mr. Dion, he's a diesel mechanic. Now, I think he's being real modest. He does a lot more than that, but we're gonna let him slide with just the diesel mechanic. We're gonna leave it at that, brother. Just let you off the hook. So welcome. That's his 9 to 5. He's a superhero after hours. Thank y'all for being here. How y'all feeling tonight?
We're good. We're good. Thanks for having us.
Happy to be here.
Thank y'all for being here. So you kind of heard what we was talking about. You got all of this going on. Like John was saying, at the wedding, everybody's all tears and it's all beautiful. The groom look at the bride coming down the aisle and he get all choked up, and it's a beautiful scene. But soon as they get back to the house, let's get ready to rumble. So
yeah.
What are y'all thoughts about that? What's the real about when you get out that party? Because that's what a wedding is, a party, and now it's time to make this thing work. Is that really a difficult thing? Is it a difficult thing?
I would say, we kind of have always kind of gone back and forth because, we feel like we still have, those butterflies going and things like that. But we have had some difficult times where, I can't stand you. He like, I can't stand you either. That's real. But you may have not seen that, right there at the moment when you get married. We high school sweethearts. So we coming from, holding hands, talking on the phone all night till you get caught by your parents. We coming from that. And real life in our 30s and having to kind of deal with the real life of being, married in a world that doesn't really support marriage as much as we would like it to. I just feel like it can come and go. It can come and go, but you have to really put the work in. I feel like a lot of times people see that beginning. It's kind of what John was talking about. He was crying. He cried.
Yeah.
And that was really my first time seeing him cry. Like, Dad, he cried. And so when I see that crying, I'm like, wow, he's really in love. But I don't see that, anymore. That moment.
So, and we're going to keep it real. Was there ever a time when you was like, Lord Jesus, I don't know. I do not know. You ever had these moments? Like, I know what I said, Lord, but
yeah, I guess you maybe one time, but it really wasn't much. You know what I'm saying? It really wasn't like
catch the look. You caught
the wait a minute, D, what you doing?
Keep it real.
We keep real.
It wasn't the time that I'm saying I'm done, I'm out of here, I can't do it no more. But it's been a time where she just get on my nerves and I just didn't want to be around at that moment. You know what I'm saying? But the way our marriage set up is we kind of got a way to, work around things like that. We know how to handle each other. When I'm mad at her, I might want to fuss at her, but I can't fuss at her right then and there. I'll wait till I calm down and say, well, you made me mad because of this. But so that's kind of how we
That's
roll.
Wisdom. Dr. Selena, my wife, talking about for me, yes. I can be honest, be real. a prophet had to prophesy to my wife to say, "Girl, go ahead and take him. He good." A prophet had to say, the Lord says, I know you scared, but this man, he gonna do right by you. He gonna treat you right and everything. God was right, but yeah. So this thing, like I said, it's not to be entered into lightly. And I like what you said. You said when I'm upset, I don't deal with the thing right then because there's a certain way I gotta approach the situation. Yeah. Everybody not doing that, man, and that's the sad thing about it.
Yeah.
So I've heard people say, people that leave, well, I wasn't happy. Is not being happy a reason to leave?
I don't think so. I mean, I just feel like people didn't really work hard enough for it. If it's me, I mean, and I was, when you was talking about the marriages, the celebrity marriages, I don't know why I took a personal about Tia and Corey. I was like, I don't know. It really hurt my feelings like I was at the wedding. I didn't understand.
Like I was at the wedding.
I'm like 14 years and you just.
Well, hold on. Let me say this. Did you see the interview to where she was talking about how tough it was to be married and she cut him off? Did you see that?
I did see that. I did. He gave a little look.
Did you see the look on his face? See, right then,
we know what that look was.
Yeah. But this is the thing.
Dion shaking his head. Yeah, we know what that look was. Yeah.
But you know your marriage doing bad when you can't hide it in front of people. And the world was looking, and I said, bruh, do you know everybody is looking and you can't hide this I'm so sick of her look on your face? Because he said, his spirit rose up and said, girl, if you don't get out of here, I'm going to choke you now. And then he was like,
yeah.
I was like, boy, he did that in front of everybody. You can't take that back. You can't take that back. You cannot take that back.
Yeah. I mean, when they say they're not happy, I'm like, but I mean, have you found when you were happy, what made you happy at the beginning? Like, could you tie back to that or anything? I just feel like it's just, marriage is just taken lightly a lot of the time. And it's, really, it's a lot attached to that, especially, if you have kids or even just your family. And now y'all have came together and now y'all are separated. And now they don't know. My family don't know if they still talk to him. And it's a lot
messy
that come with it. And I feel like people need to just stop a beat and say, what can we do, to go back to when we first fell in love, because I think that that's so important. But I do understand, people do different things and you have to cut it off because, Tina Turner said, what love got to do with it? Love
she did say that.
A lot of places. But I mean, I do understand that, but I just feel like sometimes just push a little bit more.
Fred Walton says, I'm still scared and I'm freshly married. So now I get what he's saying. There's a little bit, not of fear, but of careful. You careful about, how you do things. But you brought up a good point. You talk about, people being happy. What do people mean when they say they're no longer happy? And that's for everybody listening. We want to hear from you. What do people mean when they say they're no longer happy?
That it means I'm no longer, I'm no longer focused on your happiness, on making you happy. I'm about me now. And I think that's the turning point in most marriages, because my job as a husband is to make sure that my wife that I'm doing everything possible to keep a smile on her face. And the minute I stop doing that, and thinking, well, hell, I want to smile on my face too. Well, that's right. Her. That's her. I think the minute you take your eyes off the other person and put on yourself, I think the marriage is doomed. Literally, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you can't just continue just to go in the same circle that you've been going in. Do some things, some new things. Like my wife and I, she started this thing where the last weekend of every month, me and her go out to a date. She do 1 month, the next day I plan to date out. So it just just keep some things going on, stop doing the same thing.
Yeah, because even after we have, this is 8 years now. I always celebrate.
Okay, I was just gonna ask you. I'm glad you said. I was just gonna ask you.
I mean, even after that, with the kids and everything, we weren't doing anything but going through life together. That was it. We was just going through the motions. We was still, cuddle up, lay, laugh and talk, but we still it wasn't a lot of adventure. We like, we don't go out, we just go to movies every weekend. Like, before we had kids, so we just stopped. And so now we have to be intentional at that.
So I'm just curious. I'm curious though, because she absolutely right. I think when we put on the belt married, we think, oh Lord, the fun stopped. Now we have to play marriage and sit at home and watch TV together and look at each other like we're so happy. When you had the control to the keys of the marriage car, it can be as exciting as you want it to be. And I think the misconception, I think people play marriage so much to where when they're actually married, it brings more pressure to the relationship than it probably should.
Yeah.
Play marriage.
Oh, you heard me say it. I said that.
Play marriage. I like that. Walker LaShawns says, I didn't give up on my marriage. I really wanted it, but I eventually began to hate him, like his very being. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
It became bad for my health. I literally felt like I was dying. In actuality, I was. He dogged me out and broke me mentally and emotionally. I can't wrap my mind around getting remarried, and I don't see how people do it. I was told by him once he remarried a few years ago. I am in a much better place in my life than I've ever been with you. How does one recover from something? And I think there's a second part.
Like that.
Like that. Okay, so you heard. Okay. How does somebody recover from something like that? I think you got to look at what were the precursors. One thing about it, people don't just become something different when you marry them. They don't just all of a sudden switch to something else. They've been that person. What happens is the gloss is gone, and now you start to see. I think your vision becomes a little bit more clear after the wedding, because now, all of the hype is gone and you got to deal with real life. So, but that person, they've been that person. So I think you got to look at the precursors. And I'm not saying that this is your situation, but one thing people got to understand, common trauma and pain does not equal compatibility. Just because y'all had the same issues, y'all went through the same things, it doesn't mean that you're compatible. And a lot of people make that mistake too.
Well, I agree. And a lot of times we ignore the signs a lot of times. The signs coming like the train, like that train. You see that the light is dim, it won't be dim long till it's coming.
Right.
Really coming.
Afia says, I think that is what makes some people unhappy, just going through the motions. I think she's making reference to like y'all purposely mix it up. Y'all purposely, put some excitement in your marriage so you don't get lost into this routine. Monique said that's a great point, Amber. Being intentional about being there for one another.
Well, let me say this deal about I can't get away from the comment that we had about how the husband did it. I think a lot of times we get married when we're not ready to get married. I'm not making an excuse for anybody, but I just know a lot of times we're not ready and we don't really understand what marriage is. So when we come out of marriage, we're like, oh my God, I ain't doing that no more because he did me like this, he did me like that. Well, hold on. Marriage is a two-way street. Normally I can get whatever I want out of my wife if I take the time and the patience to get it. Now as far as him talking to you and like you got to tell and all that, there is more to that. And that's what I really don't like a lot of times is we'll put general statements out there and you only give us half because I'm certain it was way more to your marriage than just what you're telling us. And now, because you're trying to find a reason or an excuse to not love again, and I don't think that's what should happen out of it. So I want to do this. We'll be praying for you that you find love the way you need to find it. I pray that you find love that you can't take your eyes off him and him you. Because I know love is out there like that. And I hate for people And as much as we love your comments, because we do, but when you put something out there like that, man, it makes it really difficult because now we're trying to defend him and love and marriage.
Right.
But both of y'all got to work at that, man. So,
and some healing needs to take place. Some healing needs to take place. Absolutely. So Fred says, just want to be a good man for my wife, and I want to be able to stay in love with her for the rest of my life. Coming from being a player and going from woman to woman my whole life. So he said, I'm coming, trying to get on the straight and narrow, be with one woman. I want to stay in love with her for the rest of my life. Any advice for Fred about keeping that love flame burning?
I'm gonna let the new coach.
I was just gonna say, then you have to do that. If you want to do that, then you have to actually do what you're saying. You know, nobody makes you do things that does not make your wife happy. I mean, that's you. You take the control of that. I used to say, when you get married, you know the buttons that you can push. Because sometimes I'm like, if I do something, I'm like, I know he's gonna be so upset, and I'll do it because I may be upset about something. So know.
My goodness.
Okay, stop.
She hit something right there, man. She hit something right there.
She just said, I know what buttons to push. Yes. I pushed them anyway. Yet I
oh, this gonna get him right here.
I know exactly what's gonna make him upset, and same for him. He knows. And so when you know that, you don't hit below the belt. You do the things that you know. You learn the love language, and you do the things that make them happy, and you communicate with her, and as she need to communicate with you, so y'all can know what makes each other happy. He knows what I like, and when I don't, I'll tell him.
Yeah. See, I didn't know you're gonna get on here preaching tonight. Okay, I'm ready to take a collection, girl. You up because that is very serious. Because being in a marriage is exposing your vulnerable points to somebody and trusting that they won't use them against you.
Oh yeah.
Because you talk about intimacy is about vulnerability a lot. That's really what it's about. It's about letting somebody in to see all of you. But seeing all of you, you see my pain points. You see what can hurt me, but I trust you enough to let you in, knowing that you're not going to use that information against me. Now you give that person the power, but the trust says, you're not gonna do it.
You know, we don't really trust like that no more, D. We don't do that no more. Man. Nobody wants to be hurt. Yeah. Nobody wants to take the chance of perhaps putting your heart out there to somebody, and they get it and jump down on it, and you be like, now I'll never love again. Now I can't do that no more because I did it once and it didn't work out for me.
Yeah. Latasha says, unrealistic expectation. Your spouse is there to make you happy every day. She said, every day, all day. If this is the thought process that's created in your mind, you will be disappointed and mad often. Happiness should be within you. Absolutely right. We outsource our happiness. We make other people responsible for it. And that's a problem.
Well, wait now, D. As much as we outsource it, it's stuff that she can do to make me smile. It's stuff she has the key to whether my day is good or whether I'm gonna have a long day. I think vice versa, man. And I just think if you're concerned about making her a better person, helping her become the best she can be, and her man, you can't lose. But I just think when we get away from that and start thinking about, well, he ain't making me happy and she ain't making me happy, and I think Tasha's right about that because I don't possess. Well, and this thing, what is happiness anyway? What is happiness? Can somebody tell me what is happiness? Because happiness is a feeling that can be come and gone, like the breath in our nose or something. What? Somebody tell me what happiness really is.
Yeah, but the thing is, y'all want to make each other happy. You know what I'm saying? It ain't just I'm making her happy. She need to want to make me happy just as much as I want to make her happy.
That's what marriage is.
Yeah. It's got to be on both sides. You know, I'm doing everything I can do to make her happy. can you match their energy and do the same thing for me?
Yeah, and I like how Latasha said that, you know, is you happy within yourself? Like he might not send me flowers every day, but I'm still happily married. Like it doesn't mean that he has to do little bits and pieces every single day, but are we, you know, genuinely happy? Am I being his peace, or am I making him upset throughout the day by texting him something that's random that makes him upset, and then he can't have a good day? Like, you know, those are the things that, you know, you have to do when he's talking about being happy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Tarsha said, Dion, yes, outserve each other.
Yeah.
You do what you have to do to outdo the other person on loving each other. Steven says there are consequences for ignoring the red flags before marriage. Marriage requires work and maintenance in order for you to have longevity in the relationship. Consistency with vision will stimulate the relationship to grow. Wow, you said consistency with vision. Where are you going? Where's the marriage going? You know what I'm saying? Where are you actually headed? When you 15, 20, 30 years in, where do you plan to be? And I think a lot of people make the mistake of marrying where they are versus where they're going. Because if you marry where you are, that person is suitable for where you are. But what happens when you grow? You're not in that place anymore. And now this person doesn't seem to fit you anymore. I've seen that happen with a lot of people. Walker LaShawn says, Precursors, LOL. Do you have a call-in number?
No,
she's like, she about to run it down.
Nope, we do not.
She also said happiness is magic rays of sunshine that comes down when you're feeling blue.
I just heard this. I just heard this. I saw this in a movie. I'm trying to remember where I got it from. I just heard that. I just saw a movie that was in. That statement came from.
That does sound familiar. It sounds familiar.
I just saw it. I watched too many movies. I don't.
But we hear the happiness thing all the time. I heard a lot of.
I know where it was.
People, you remember
where it was? It was a not Happy Gilmore, but the dude that played the alligator when they was in the swamp. He played for the football team.
Okay.
I know you're talking about.
You know what I'm saying? Y'all know the name of the movie?
Yeah.
A water boy.
Water boy. That's what he told the teacher. That's what he told the teacher that his mama told him.
I remember. Oh, I'm with you now.
It was gonna bother me. I'm sorry. It was gonna bother me.
I'm with you now. We got you.
But happiness is a choice, though. See, that's what people don't understand. Happiness is a choice. You have to choose to be happy, or you have to choose to be unhappy or sad. And again, my wife can do some things to help me be happy, but ultimately the decision is mine whether to be happy or not. I think we put too much. What does I ain't happy no more? What does that even mean? Because a lot of times that's a bag of stuff. That's a bag of little bitty things that we never cleared up or that we never talked about. Now you want to put the whole bag up and throw the bag over your shoulder and tell me I ain't happy. We like, well, what is all that? Why didn't you say anything?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're right. Are we communicating?
But how happy were you before y'all got married anyway? Like, what made you happy to make you want to get married? So you gotta go back to that. You can't just, because some people get married for the wrong reason right now.
Sure.
Some people get married for life. You know.
So who gets married? Who gets married and say we're gonna be married? Who have long-term marriage goals when they get married? I don't think. Wow. I think that's the right thing for the right time for that time. But I don't think many people have long-term marriage goals. Because I can be honest with my wife. I'm sure 31 in. If you had told me 31 years ago we was gonna still be married, I'd have been like, "You is crazy," and I'm betting on it. I'm betting on
it. The thing with that, you know, like me, I was brought up in 2-parent household, so I seen marriage.
Okay.
My parents been married for over 30 years, and my wife the same way. So I always told myself, when I turn 25, I'm getting married. That's what I wanted to do, and I wanted to make sure it worked. So I came into it as a long-term thing. So I didn't come in it for the wrong reason, you know. It just.
But I think we kind of prepared ourselves to grow together. Like I kind of explained that we're not gonna, you know, some people don't want to get married because they're like, well, I'm not where I need to be. And you know, and I had to explain to him, but that's what we're here for. God made me for you, you know, and we're gonna grow together. So where we were when we first got married in 2014, oh my gosh. I mean, I could testify all day about, you know, how God has blessed, you know, our entire family. But we didn't know it was gonna be there at 26 years old.
And the thing is, like, she was like, every 5 years, like you were saying, Derek, you need to grow. So she told us before we even got married, she said, every 5 years, I want us to be doing something new, whether there's a job or whatever.
Be looking the same way. Every 5 years, we looking the same. We don't have nothing new. There's no new job, no new, you know, no new car. Like, I mean, something. Every 5 years,
that's good.
Say, this is something new that we're doing so that we don't get old together, and we're really trying to grow each other. If you have something that you want to do, okay, let's work on that. Let's push that through. And if I have something I want to do, he want to encourage me. So we still growing together every day.
You know, I just reminded of something. I remember hearing Tony Robbins. He said, people are happiest when they're growing. When there is clear signs of their growing, that's when they're happiest. Whether it's I went from 10 pounds to 20 pounds I lost, or, you know, I went from not having a degree to having a degree. You know, in those things, this is where people find happiness when they're growing. The thing with marriage is, how do we do that together? So I'm not leaving the other person behind. Monique says, yes, I love that, growing one another. No, that was a great point. She also says, I think most people may use, I just wasn't happy and I want that back. But many times it's so much more than happy. I think John said it comes with a whole bag of stuff that you're dealing with. Tasha says, I waited too long for my marriage. It's for the long haul. So I say she locked in. She is locked in. Afia says, right, when a person says they're not happy, they're willing to do the work as well, or is it all on you to make the person happy? Expectations need to be discussed between the two. And I think people don't have the discussions because they're so afraid that it's going to mean that they're not going to be together.
Well, they're not staying together anyway. So you might as well talk about it.
Right.
You gotta see. It's not it mean it's the end.
Listen, I come home and your bag's at the door anyway. So get out. Let me tell you this before you go. Let me just
your bag's at the door. Your bag's at the door. But I think personally, I think it's a mistake, and I know it's a common practice. People send out invitations and all this type of stuff before they have the conversations that they need to have. And a lot of times when you already get that stuff out there, the public is now locked in. And so you can't privately say, you know what, we just decided it wasn't going to work, because now everybody's looking for this wedding, and you kind of throw yourself into this arena where everything there's this public eye on you on what you're going to do. And there's pressure to go ahead. And I don't think people handle that well. Let me get Fred. Fred says, I've always seen good marriage examples. But I never thought that would be me. That would be me based on how I was living. But now that I'm married and my life has did a 360, I'm chasing them examples I've seen from my parents and family members. And now see being married and in love with one person is a beautiful thing. Now, Amber and Dion, y'all said y'all both come from backgrounds where your parents were married. How much did they help guide you all through this? Did they offer guidance, or was it just y'all observed them? Like, were they active in helping y'all?
I think more of the observance. I mean, just seeing it, because I don't really remember any like pep talks or anything like that from my parents. I mean, both our parents, they might have been married. Well, my parents are a lot older, but mine have been married about 40-something years, and then his been married about 20-something years. But when I mean, when we think about it, it's just how they showed it. Like his parents, I've never seen people that outwardly in love in my life. Like my parents wasn't like, you know, kissy and love like that, but it was like they were a unit. And we saw that they never, you know, we never heard them argue. Right. We never heard them you know, talk bad to each other or go against each other in front of us.
Ooh, no talk back. Oh my goodness. They need to write some books. No talk back.
Oh yeah, I know. As I got older though, and you know, became a married woman myself, my mom began to kind of tell me little things, you know, about my dad, you know, because they still, you know, she like, I don't take no mess. I don't know. I hope they're not watching, but she was like, you know, but she was like, I don't take no mess and stuff like that. But as a child, I never saw it. And I know for him, I mean, his parents, oh my gosh, his dad he just look at his mom and say, ooh, she just looks so good. And we be like, you don't have to do all
wow.
that.
Okay.
All day. So we saw that like the whole time.
So his love is still burning, I guess. You can say that because like I said, you can just be on the phone with him. You be like, Dad, what y'all doing? Nothing. Sitting talking. Boy, your mama looks so good. Dad, don't start all that. You know.
Okay. No, that's beautiful, man. That's a beautiful thing, brother. That's a beautiful thing.
So really, being married, it's been easy. You know what I'm saying? So, it's what you make. It's what you make.
You're right. Brittany Wilson says, also, happiness is a choice, and making another person responsible for your happiness is setting yourself up for failure.
So when you say irreconcilable differences, that means we have decided I'm no longer going to do what I need to do to try to help you in your happiness pursuit, and you're not going to do what I need to do to help me with mine. So you gone and I'm gone. And but again, most of the time when we leave those marriages, most of the people I've talked to that are divorced will come back and say, well, you know, I could have did more. Well, I probably should have did. Oh, listen, because don't nothing make you come to yourself like being by yourself.
Right.
Because I really do believe that people are meant to be with other people. I really do. And you have to be some type of person to end up. And I've been wanting to say this for months. Don't nobody want to end up old by themselves. I don't care what. Listen, I don't care what you say. There ain't nothing like being in your 60s and 70s and you by yourself. Yeah. You can't sit on the rocking chair and watch Judge Judy with the dog and the grandkids. Who want that? Don't nobody want that. You know how stubborn you got to be as a young person to decide. I want to go with my future alone. Who wants that? That's foolish. That is foolish and it's stupid.
Yeah. I say that all the time. A lot of women, I'm like, when they say they don't want a man,
they just saying
you do. You know, you do want someone. Yes. Like you may not be in a place right now to accept that person or to give what you need to give in that relationship, but everybody wants that love factor. Everybody.
Hey, and them young cats ain't got but one thing for you when you go out there. They ain't got but one. Them young cats ain't got but one thing for you.
I won't be. I'm done.
Because that's what's supposed to be out there. That's all that's supposed to be out there. You can't find love out there like that.
Brother, I remember watching this video one time, and this young lady, I would say she was probably late 30s, right around 40. She had to go to a procedure at the hospital. She was sick. And she made a video in her car, I think a little bit after. And she said, you know, I went to and my mom had to bring me home, and my mom had to take care of me.
I don't have nobody.
My mom, there was nobody else there. And she was feeling that, man. She was like, man, this thing ain't all it's cracked up to be being by yourself.
But you know why she was feeling it, D? Because she looked back over her life and she saw some decisions that she had made, and she was like, that nigga was a plumber, but he was a good plumber. He was a good plumber. I done got caught up with my friends to my girl, you married a plumber. I should have kept that plumber. That plumber. Now he doing well now, dude. We look back over our lives when it's too late and be like, man, I knew I messed it up. Listening to my friends who's single now. Dude, don't nobody, I don't want that for nobody.
Yeah.
I'll tell people right now, both my best friends told me do not get back with him. My best friend.
Wow.
We're still best friends to this day.
I don't know how.
Dion, you give him the side eye every time they come around. Dion, you be like, huh? You tried to get rid of me, huh?
No, I didn't told him that. They said no, that was high school. You know, it's time for y'all to move on. Don't get back together because we had broken up through college years, like 5 years. And I was like, hey, y'all, me and Dion been talking. They was like, no. I mean, my best friend since kindergarten. And they was like, no. But something told me, you know, don't listen to that. Fantasia came out. Bump what your friends say. Fantasia. But I mean, it's really true.
Listen, everything has examples. Success has examples like failure does. And sometimes we got to decide what we're going to pay attention to. Girl, your heart was saying, listen, that man understands me. Y'all don't get, I can't really explain to y'all. That man get me.
Yeah.
And trying to make somebody else understand what's going on in your heart, you can't do that.
But you can't.
Right.
Yeah, you can't even try to explain it. This is our relationship. And I think sometimes that's another issue. People are trying to make other people accept that. People used to say me and Dion are so different and things like that. I'm like, y'all have no idea how compatible, you know, we are.
Yeah.
Just because we came from kind of two different walks of lives, you know, but he's my, you know, he's the street part that I need, you know.
Yeah.
I don't be knowing some stuff to say.
That's what happened.
So y'all can move either way, you know what I'm saying? We can go kick it with you can move. Right. You can move around. You can move around. But I think you pointed out something huge. I don't think there's enough examples around. I don't think people see enough examples to observe marriage. Fred said it too. He said people were married around him. He said now he's locked in and paying attention. But I know for me, it was just my mom. I came from a single parent home. It was just my mom. And my mom didn't bring men around us. She focused on her kids and that was it. So I didn't grow up seeing that interaction. There were neighbors, but man, they used to fight like cats and dogs where the police get called and all this type of stuff. And of course they end up getting divorced. But as far as seeing a solid example, it wasn't until I met my wife's family. And she'd be like, why are you always hanging out with my daddy? I always hang out with my daddy. I'm trying to pick up on something. I'm observing. And I watched him and watched her mom and dad. And I watched other people. But I was blessed to get a chance to get around people who actually took marriage serious. The church that I came to when I came to Dallas, where I met my wife, people were actually trying to make things work. You had people that had years in and stuff. So it's a blessing to have that, but not everybody has that luxury. And we need more examples.
Me and my wife came from single family homes, and we remember how tough it was for both of us as kids. We're both the oldest, and we both have younger siblings. I got all brothers, she got all sisters. Wow. Y'all figure that out. So, but we were so stubborn through our relationship that we didn't care how much hell we had trying to build something. We were determined that we were going to build something. And we would see our aunts and uncles, and they would say, y'all still, man, you still with Sherry? Yeah, ball and chain, she over there, she over there. It literally was like, I can't believe, you long. They would say, man, ain't nobody in the family never been together long as y'all. Yeah, I know, but yeah, she's right over there. And I couldn't see life without her. One of the reasons because she got all the codes, she got all the I'll be doing without if I ain't had none of that stuff. But she got all that stuff. Yeah, but that was us. We were too stubborn to get divorced.
Monique says exactly. Most do not see those positive examples of marriage, especially those that have wisdom and are honest. Yeah, it's rare, and it shouldn't be as rare as it is, but that's just the reality that we dealing with today.
People care too much about how they look in relationships. Now with social media has ruined relationships because first of all, I got to put everything that we do on social media. So now when it don't work out, I got to try to figure out how I can ease this in here to where the relationship ain't working. So I can kind of tell people, dude, social media worst thing because we all have to look good in it. When in marriage, you can't care. Sometimes you got to be the guy that goes in and you're right, especially in marriage. I know I'm right and I gotta apologize. And I'm right. It don't make sense. Don't try to make it make sense because it ain't gonna make sense. And sometimes when I'm wrong, I gotta go in and do what it don't make sense. It don't even try to make marriage make sense because it don't make sense. But dude, you can't care about how you look in the marriage if you want a successful one.
So real quick, let me get a Fia. Fia says yes. Instead of being good, they want to look good. Yeah, people destroy themselves looking good for social media. But how do people fall out of love? Let's help somebody. How does that happen? How do people fall out of love?
I feel like I'm doing a lot of talking, so I'm gonna let the new people talk.
I mean, I just think they just stop putting the work towards it. I mean, I don't know. And I hate to say it sometimes because I do understand, like, you know, when people are talking, I think someone said earlier, somebody just talk bad to them, just crush them emotionally and things like that. I don't want to get anybody wrong. I understand that. Don't stay in a relationship if you are unhappy. You know, someone is suddenly tearing you down or cheating on you and things like that. I mean, some things you can't go wrong, but I feel like a lot of times, you know, people are just not trying anymore. Like they're no longer choosing to find their happiness in the person that they chose to give happiness to. Like if this is my husband and I want, you know, you to be my partner in life, then I need to find happiness in you in any way, form, or fashion. So if just like I said, if I felt like, yeah, we getting a little dry, you know, we're not doing nothing. We just being with the kids, with everything, family, and they get on our nerve, and now we arguing. And you know, so we had to have a talk, and now we have, you know, committed to that. We've never just been just terrible together or anything like that, but we still had times where we could have been a better, you know, couple to each other so we can be happy, because at any moment you can fall out of love because you are not creating that happiness for each other. And I feel like that sometimes that's how people kind of fall out of love.
Afia says, I feel like some people fall out of love because they feel like some of their emotional needs are being unmet. Emotional needs being unmet.
Well, one of the things that that people a lot of times put money in front of happiness. They put this bag. They put work in front of the family. They put a lot of there are always obstacles that we put in front of our relationship, and we think it'll survive. Relationships are like a bank. You got to have enough in them, so when you need to withdraw from them, there's enough in them to take out of. A lot of times we don't have enough in them before we put the bag, because you know the bag is the thing. We want to be a power couple. We want to have a big house, and because that comes at a cost. A lot of times marriages don't get through the cost of it. So we gotta be certain we put everything where it belongs as far as getting the bag in the relationship, because a lot of times the bag goes in front of the relationship, and a lot of relationships don't survive that because you'll never make enough money.
Right.
You'll never make enough money. You will never. But the one thing you can't get back is the time.
You're absolutely right about that.
We realize that as we get older.
I saw a real good video a few weeks ago. Now I just looked at it again today. There was this teacher, and she was explaining to her students in a class the difference in being in love and making a choice to love somebody. And she said, being in love it's the spirit of love. It's the feeling. It's the emotion. It's being in love. But then too, you have the choice to love. And passion is a provision for purpose. We get hung up on passion, but passion is in place to help the purpose go forward. So the spirit of love, what people call the emotion of love, is there to help the real love, the commitment to do the things that love requires, to make sure that you still, because you're not going to always feel like doing it. And when you don't feel like doing it, there is commitment there to hold you in place. But the spirit of love, you have to maintain that. And caring about somebody else, showing love for somebody else, paying attention to them, that's a way to kind of keep that spirit going. So somebody else, like, you know what, I think I need to look after them. I think I need to do this for them. And you kind of feel that versus, yeah, let me just go ahead and do this because I'm supposed to.
D, tell her what Teddy P said. Tell her what Teddy P said. D, tell her what Teddy P said.
feels so good loving somebody and somebody loves you back.
You better say that. You better say that.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. That's all we want. You know what I'm saying? You can buy your own food. You can iron. You can do all this stuff by yourself, but it means something that somebody cares enough about you to take that on for themselves. Like, hey, I got you. You don't have to do this. I'll do this for you. So it just means something. Man, this has been a great conversation. We're up to our final thoughts. So
flew by, man. It flew by.
I flew by. So we're gonna go to the Davenports for their final thoughts. Davenports.
Well, I just feel like marriage. I'm a marriage advocate, and I make him be one too because he's my spouse. And so I just always tell people to give it a shot. You know, once you find your best friend and your mate, your life just flows and the blessings continue to come because you're now working as a unit with the person that God has put in your life for you. So just continue to try to find that happiness and to create that happiness with each other, because that's what's most important. Because in a marriage, it's not always going to be easy, but you can make it where it was, effortless because you both are on the same team and you're thriving together. You want to say something, babe?
Yeah. And then in a marriage, you have to put your pride to the side. You know what I'm saying? If you're feeling some type of way and you say, well, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that, but you actually messing your wife or your husband up. Just stay focused. Stay focused and know why you got married. Don't just say, oh, I'm going to do this just because I got to do it. No, do it because you want to do it. And so marriage is a very beautiful thing and it's fun. You can have just as much fun with your wife that you can out in the streets with your friends. So don't let that scare you away just saying, oh, I ain't gonna be able to do this anymore. I still do and enjoy my time with my friends, but at the most of all, I make sure I'm good and my wife is good. And that's our final thoughts.
Hey, I want to talk to Keisha. Keisha was saying she's scared. She don't know if she's gonna love again. She's scared. Listen. Love is beautiful in the right context. I would just be prayerful for Keisha if I was you, that God send the right guy. Because Keisha, I don't know if you know this, but you crazy too, Keisha. You listen, don't you get on here talking like you ain't no mess, because we all are messes. And we just pray to God send somebody that can deal with us in our mess. Now, you may not be in a much of a mess as he was, but you ain't finna put all that on him, and you ain't got nothing to do with it. The devil and I ain't going for it. So, Keisha, I pray for you that you find love, but more importantly, Keisha, you in a space to where you can receive it. That's my final thought.
I'm reminded of a quote by an author named Samuel Johnson, and he says, "The fountain of content must spring up in the mind, and he who has so little knowledge of human nature as to seek happiness by changing anything other than your own disposition will waste your life in fruitless efforts and multiply the grief you try to remove." People need to learn how to figure out who they are. Know yourself. Somebody says, to thine own self be true. We bring people in too soon because there are things about ourselves that we're having a hard time dealing with, and we need a distraction. And sometimes people can be good distractions. But the thing that you get distracted from is still there. And then when you get locked in, that thing comes back up. And now it's something that both of you have to deal with. Manage your own issues before you get into a relationship with somebody else. And be clear about the expectations you have for yourself and the expectations you have for them. But by all means, contentment is a choice. So decide what you can be content with or what you can't be, and be real about it. And be honest about it, so that you set the right expectations for you and the person that you're supposed to be with. And that's how King speaks for this week.
Did I not tell y'all when it came to King Speak, we was gonna this? Oh, really? Oh.
Hey, we appreciate everybody for hopping on, listening in. We definitely appreciate the Davenports for hopping on. Listen, y'all dropped some gems on the folks tonight. And no, I'm serious. 8 years in and y'all already have this type of wisdom about you. That is something that is very commendable. So keep doing what y'all doing. Keep being the example for other people that you're being. So absolutely, we definitely appreciate y'all hopping on with us though.
Thank you so much. We enjoyed it. Thank you.
Appreciate y'all for having us, man. Sorry I had to deal with a baby, you know.
Hey, man.
No, man.
No,
That's part of the happiness y'all working over there. So yeah, do your thing. Hey, baby. Listen, everybody, don't forget, make sure you like, share, subscribe. Don't forget the podcast, our audio. We got that going on. Also coming up, we're going to do an actual video recording. We're going to do man talk, shop talk. We're going to the barbershop and have a good conversation with some fellas about some real things, some real issues about relationships. It's coming up soon, coming up end of the month. We're going to be recording. We're going to go ahead and put that out and get that ready for y'all.
Can we tell them?
Yeah, go ahead and tell them.
We're doing it at Brooklyn's over on Main Street in Frisco.
Yeah.
Brooklyn. A good friend of mine, been knowing it for a little while now. Wow. That's how you know you're getting old. When you say, wow, I've been knowing it for a little while. You know everybody for a little while because you're old now. Yeah, but I've been knowing for a little while. We're going to go over there. We're going to have a great time over there. So can't wait to get over there and do it.
Yeah, more details coming soon, but we just decided to put a bug in your ear and get ready for that because it's gonna be awesome. We taking this show on the road, baby.
Man,
taking
talk
on the
in
road.
The community. You better ask.
Man, talk. We all in the community.
You better ask.
Get ready for Shop Talk coming up here real soon. Thank everybody for joining with us tonight. Get ready for good things we got coming. We're gonna catch you all next Monday. Have a great week. Peace out. See y'all.
Be blessed.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.